So I'm here with the team from the Ardent Atheist podcast. I'm here with Emery, and Heather Henderson. How are you, Heather? And how are you, Emery?
Henderson.
What did I say?
Henderson.
He knows
Henderson.
that's just how he talks.
I thought how am I talking?
You know he has Parkinson's.
I do have a little bit of Parkinson's. I'm here with Hank Thompson, hilarious comedian. Hey, Hank, and we're...
Oh, hey, I'm with herpes.
Right. And we're talking about Hillary Clinton's physical episode, but she had go on MSNBC, a spokesperson, and I could not get over how transparently dishonest this woman was being. And the bigger her smile gets, the more and harder she's lying. It's like watch. So here we go. They asked them some questions because, they lied about her being sick. They didn't say she had pneumonia. Then they said she was just overheated. And then they said, oh, no, she's fine. Then they said, oh, well, she actually did have pneumonia. So they're switching stories around quite a bit. So here she comes on MSNBC, and let's just enjoy someone lying.
To have you with me.
Thank you for having me here.
How is Secretary Clinton feeling?
She is doing well. Thank you so much for asking. As we said, she became a little overheated on Sunday, and she wanted to leave to just get into an air-conditioned car and have some water and fully recover, and she's feeling well
So that
today.
90 minutes off the grid going to Chelsea's apartment over by Madison Square Park, was a doctor in that apartment that actually looked her over?
You know what? We were during that time, and as we...
What? What'd she just say?
What did she just? You tell me what she just said.
We were at
that time. We were looking at.
We were at that
so
time.
no. So the answer is no. There wasn't a doctor. We didn't take her to a doctor.
Face.
And why didn't they take her to a doctor? Because they know the problem. She has Parkinson's.
Well, I think there's some rationality to that in a way. Like if you have a chronic condition and you've had experience managing its ups and downs,
yes,
you don't necessarily run to the emergency room.
Right, they know what it was.
A surprise when something jumps up out of nowhere. Now it's panic time. You go to a doctor.
Yeah.
So
and then she doesn't have a history of passing out. According to them, she's only passed out twice before in her entire life. She's 68. That's passing out once
34.
every 34 years. Yep. So it's not something that happens to her.
Right.
That's not a problem. That's not a condition. Although she talked about it as if it was a condition. She goes, I can usually handle it, control it. What? Control what? Something that doesn't ever happen? So here she is saying, we took her to her daughter. No, there wasn't a doctor there. And then the way she answered that question is a way a liar would answer, right? So why are you lying about that there wasn't a doctor there?
In those 90 minutes, we should have put out information sooner. That's on us at the campaign. We'll seek to do those kind of things in the future. That was absolutely our mistake, and we regret that. But in that time, what we wanted to do was just make sure that she was okay and get in touch with her doctor who did examine her.
We wanted to make sure she was okay and get in touch with her doctor. You didn't take her to a doctor. No, you took her to her daughter's house. You took her to a banker's wife's house. Why wouldn't you take her to a doctor?
People that you just didn't want to get caught. You didn't want to tell people the actual truth, and that video actually exposed a bigger problem because you were sitting on something that you already knew.
No, I can tell you that
but you knew she had pneumonia.
I can say.
Right?
Wow.
Oh, this is so funny.
She's got a hell of a tell.
You're being so
I want to play poker with her.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
That's a tell, right,
Yeah,
Emery?
man. No way. Absolutely. I also want to say this, and this is something that a lot of people would watch this clip and never think to say. But please, I beg you, Wolf Blitzer, watch this clip. This is how journalism is done.
Oh, he's staying on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not letting her obfuscate
This
or get
guy
him off
is
track.
no Wolf Blitzer.
What's wrong with just telling the truth? Yeah, she's been sick. She's on the fucking road
What's
so
wrong
much.
with telling the truth? Listen, if Jimmy's right, if she's got a condition, whether it be Parkinson's or AIDS, whatever it might be, if Jimmy's right, she can't do that. She will not get elected because people don't think like me about this in this day and age. People would choose not to vote for her, and think about the pressure that's on her right now too, by the way. I'm being really generous when I say this.
You are.
I'm not a fan of her necessarily, but I'm being very generous when I say this. She has a lot of pressure to keep this from becoming a Trump's America.
Oh, that's her pressure?
That's her pressure. She's wearing that on her fucking shoulders.
People are telling me that's my pressure, that it's going to be my fault if Trump is elected. That's what people are telling. Literally, they go, well, it's going to be your fault. Like,
people who are telling you that are really deluded about your power.
No kidding.
It's really amazing. I just, it's not on your shoulders. You should be doing what you're doing. And especially, I know you believe the things you're saying.
Thank you.
And I also must say, you are convincing me when you do some of these. Most of the whole point. Most of the time you convince me you're right. Usually Jimmy's right.
Let's watch this lady lie some more.
For us, she was diagnosed on Friday. You know, she's had a cough for allergies for about a week.
So who decided not to tell the public?
No, you know, honestly, what we were doing during that time was just trying to make sure she was okay and get in touch with her doctor.
Right.
And so
but
that was on
who made the
us.
decision not to say anything on Friday after saying it's seasonal allergies, and then you get a real diagnosis of pneumonia, and this is something that you should take seriously. Obviously, there is a...
So she has pneumonia, and she's hanging out with this little kid? This is when she came back out after she passed out to show everybody she was okay. So she comes out and she starts talking. She's got pneumonia?
It's not the contagious type. It's the type you have when you have Parkinson's. Oops!
Great deal at risk right now. But why not be transparent about something so real?
You know, Thomas, she just wanted to power through. That's what Hillary Clinton is. She just wanted to work through it. She knew that she was sick. She'd been suffering from allergies, had that cough, saw a doctor, knew she had pneumonia, but she had a really important meeting on Friday. She had leaders, some of the top thinkers in national security coming to New York to meet with her, former directors of CIA.
Does Hillary Clinton have anyone in her life that says no? Because now we have this video where she loses a shoe. She's falling getting into that van. Does anybody say to her, no, Secretary Clinton, you are too ill. This is serious. Today you're going to have to say, I cannot attend, I have pneumonia.
This is a woman who likes to work really hard.
Does anyone ever say no to her?
Well, let me just say, Thomas, if she had her way, she would be on a plane right now to California. And so she...
So now, let's watch this. And now when you watch this, if you're
Before we watch it, I have to say...
Yeah.
More spin than a retrograde Saturn.
No kidding, right?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's not helping.
That was nuts.
That doesn't help, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it
that
must work on middle America.
Who does this
I don't
work
know.
on?
The people who go to Cracker Barrel. Why is that place still open? Because that shit works.
She's trying to distract everyone with their beautiful teeth.
Yeah, right.
Cracker Barrel has the cheesy hash browns, which I love.
That's all I could eat there.
Yeah,
I would stop on the road. I would stop there, get two of those, and that was my dinner.
I go there for the shopping.
Yeah. I go there for the racism.
So you watch.
Let's watch this.
You watch. If you have heat exhaustion, the way you're like this, you're like, oh, I'm hot. You're wiping. You're like. She is rigid, and then she does jerky. That's not how you collapse if you're hot. You don't collapse like that. Watch.
To just power through and keep doing it. She was going to California for a number of months.
But that's only if the pneumonia diagnosis wasn't exposed.
So
she would be on a plane.
That's a neurological problem.
Listen. I gotta disagree with you on this.
And she still has her fucking coat on. You're overheated.
She's trying to save face.
Listen, I'm seeing a different thing than you are. Now, this is, and listen, we do a show called Skeptically Yours. Tune in if you can, skepticallyyours.net. We talk about the kind of thing that's happening right now in this studio. This is called confirmation bias.
Yes.
And you really want her to have this condition, and you're figuring out a way for that to be evidence of it, and it's not, in my opinion.
You don't think it is?
No, it's not. What I see is there's a better... Occam's razor says that all that's really happening is she knows she's going down, and she's got to not do that. She's aware enough that she's got to figure out a way to remain upright, because if she goes down, the election is fucking over. That's what's in her head.
Okay.
She's almost passed out, and I think you're really trying to turn this into Parkinson's too much.
Why would she lie like this, though?
Well, that's what politicians do, especially during an election cycle, and something like this one. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, give me the politician who isn't lying about stealing millions of dollars from people with his fucking Trump university, which is not a university. It's not even a uni. It's barely a versity. And the lies that him and his people tell are so much more. I mean, really, it's like the difference between Heather's skin and mine. It's so dramatic.
Yes. Okay, Hank, you wanted to say.
Oh, I was going to say, like, you got to look at the incentives. There's if there's some sort of deep underseated chronic condition like Parkinson's, they're incentivized to try to control that image as far as it gets out. They want to control when that comes out. Hopefully after her presidency, if they could have their way. So what's the incentive for controlling just regular walking pneumonia or campaign sickness?
Or the boogie-woogie flu.
Like why? Like what's the incentive for doing what they're doing is what I'm saying. I don't think anything rises to the level that you could say she has Parkinson's, but I can definitely see that there's very valid reasons to be skeptical about their efforts to control this message, because you could turn
I can
she got
answer
sick,
that.
she's working hard into a positive. It is a
And
look
they
how,
would,
you know,
they would still be lying to us about what the real cause of her collapse is.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a cell phone camera of because they didn't know there was a cell phone.
They would be
video
lying
of it.
to us. There's no
And
question about
that's
that.
when she came out and she was with that little kid and she's like, "I'm fine. It's a great day in New York."
That's what all of them do. All of them do this. All the way back to the beginning of elections, they all try to control how we perceive them so they can get elected. That's
Yes.
what this game is. But at the end of the day, they don't ever, hopefully, want the public to see her go through any kind of spell like this because of Alex Jones and because of the lies of the Trump organization. They're the ones that have tried hard to convince guys like you
I
and
see what you're
me
saying.
that she has Parkinson's.
I see what you're saying.
Why
So-
has it got to be Parkinson's?
Because she has symptoms that are consistent.
Yeah.
Just from that. You're
Not
saying.
just that, the other things. When she had the brain injury and she had to wear the glasses, first of all, that's a brain injury.
Yeah.
She had a real, when you have to wear those glasses, you have a real brain injury.
Yeah, there's no question
And they
she
said
had-
she had a blood clot in her head that was really bad and really rare, and they were lucky that they caught it. And now she takes blood thinners for it. Well, blood clots in your head, very close to, that's not good. So she's got. So if you have a 68-year-old woman with a history of brain trauma and she passes out, you don't take her directly to an emergency room. Yes, you do, unless you know it's not any. Unless you know it's consistently symptomatic with something else you're treating.
You know what
and
I
you're
think-
going to say it's pneumonia. They knew she had it.
I don't know.
I'm going to say it's something more serious. It looks like neurological.
I'm going to say I don't know. That's really my
I don't
honest-
know for sure, but
that's my honest opinion.
I think that it's okay now that we speculate because they're lying left and right. And this woman, wow, was she lying? That was unbelievable. That was kind of fun to watch how much she lied.
Yeah. Why do we drive on a Parkinson's but park on a drive-in center?
That's what I say.
That's the real question.
I'm gonna go with a parallel